This is another nice native plant. These are called milkweeds. You can see there's a pod right here. This is a milkweed pod. It's going to break open and all kinds of little fluffy things come out. Those are the seeds. And you can see some of the bugs that like to live on milkweed. One of the main bugs that we really like that's on milkweed is monarch butterfly caterpillars. Monarch butterfly caterpillars eat the leaves of the milkweed. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing any caterpillars right now, but they eat the leaves of these. And inside of this plant, there's actually a chemical. It's called a cardiac glycoside, and it makes your heart beat funny. Okay, so it's a poison, it's a toxin. And when the monarch butterflies eat these plants, they become toxic to anything that eats them. So birds learn very quickly not to eat a monarch butterfly. The other thing that birds should know is that when we look at these milkweed bugs here, look at the color of this guy. This is orange, and orange is a warning color in nature. Usually, if you're orange, you're probably toxic, and other animals know not to eat you, or they learn pretty quickly from one bad exposure. So there's another one. So milkweed. Here's a great native flower. It's called Joe Pieweed, and pollinators absolutely love this. This plant dies back to the ground every year. So this is in my garden, and if you look, this plant is really tall. It's about the height of my head. But in the winter, there's nothing there. It's just bare ground, and it dies back. But pollinators absolutely love this plant. Let's see if we see anything buzzing around. It's been a rainy day, but if you look here, you can see some little bees and things like that sort of buzzing around. Here's one happy little bee sort of buzzing around. You can see a lot of things sort of enjoying this particular, hopefully you can see some of these things. There are a lot of insects buzzing around. They love the nectar off of Joe Pieweed. And this is a little, I don't know if you can see it. Trying to get that little bee. That's a honeybee. That's probably from my neighbor's hive. My neighbor has a hive of honeybees, and hopefully you can see that. He's out there trying to get some nectar off of this plant to bring back to the hive. So you can see that everybody loves Joe Pieweed. Oh, look at that beautiful one there, and another honeybee. A lot of action here. Native plants are great. Here's a nice example of a native flower. This is a perennial flower, and if we zoom in, these are called black-eyed Susans. Black-eyed Susans are native. They evolved along with the insects in this area, so they're great pollinator plants, and they're also the state flower of Maryland. And if we go right next to it, you can see another flower, which is echinacea. These little here, these flowers here, the common name for these are coneflowers. And if you look at them, see here, they're kind of prickly. When I push on it, it's kind of prickly. It doesn't give. So these coneflowers are also native, and they are great pollinator plants as well. And here, along the side of the road, is one of my favorite little wildflowers. This is a native wildflower. I don't know if you've seen this before, but it's called chicory. And it is just the prettiest color, and it is a native. But the one catch with chicory, like sometimes I like to cut flowers and put them in my living room just to decorate. Chicory is one of those things that will wilt immediately when you cut it. So it's not a good cutting flower.